my aerodynamics for this species so to get the whole smoothness on it.
I like how you dressed up like Benki today.
I gotta get a picture with him later.
Yeah.
Defeat interpretation or bad way to evaluate the debate. There's not an interpretation argument in the block. No justification for why he should get these new two. And our response to this argument predicated on whatever strategy on the strategic loss considered to be interpretation bad. It's cause a race from the evaluation of this debate purely on the question of who increases limits. Of course, not going to understand. But if we win some of the defeats as well as our conceded counter interpretation as reasons why we solve the majority of the limits explosion argument mistake, and they've never identified a reason why the ask in this particular instance that every single argument is reasonable by what we justify is a bad argument. However, they do not have a reason or any arbitrary argument why it can be interpreted bad. I think is not an arbitrary interpretation. Believe that our act is justified in this particular instance because we have a particular justification of why you have to expand the possibly eligibility of people within traffic situation. You have to hold a strong language line along technical arguments because these topical arguments are always over on ticky-tacky issues. They are not justified why they do arguments for the same means. You default to the question of whether the act itself is reasonable. No argument identified in the two are why we do so. If we win, therefore is creative and good for the literature itself. It's justification for why you should evaluate this debate on its own merits. There's no topical version of the affirmative because we always lose to the increased cap. He says none of those counterpoints are not contended, but I don't understand why that is true. I can identify counterpoints. One is to simply extend the cap rather than removing the cap as a whole, or thinking out of changing the number itself means that every affirmative inherently has a justification for increasing the number, which limits the availability of advantage ground, which will be the further benefit. I do not respond to the advantage ground diversity argument that enforces all affirmatives and things like EB and H1B affirmatives because of the substantive literature based on why people should not be excluded from these forms of reasons and such. Will also, in their interpretation, also makes affirmative probabilistic because there is past evidence indicates that people need to receive a visa number order topic. I do not answer this inadmissibility argument in the Torah. This argument makes a lot of sense to me. It indicates that in order to be eligible for a visa, the hash evidence indicates you have to have the visa. That you have to be able to guard that visa number itself, which means you have to be able to get through all other restrictions on eligibility areas. Means that only means that the limits equals affirmative because our counter interpretation that you have to have a positive increase in eligibility means that they lead to limits explosion of acts that just remove inadmissibility requirement and increase the number of guaranteed visas for those people. But our counter interpretation limits those forms of you have to have a positive explanation of how you increase eligibility. I do not have a response to this counter interpretation. I would say that our counter interpretation now, you have to create a positive mechanism to expand eligibility. Our affirmative visa counter interpretation because we extend it to we extend the current visa to a particular undocumented population while requiring that they file a claim in civil courts. Means our acts reasonable because it means that there always plenty of ground against our affirmative to pick out of things like the civil court provision of the affirmative or the undocumented provision. Identify what group they possibly expand their interpretation justifies affirmatives that just remove any eligibility restriction guarantee that visas means that only our counter interpretation solves limits better. We have uniqueness argument about the topic is over limit now. I do not think it's well responded to by the 200. There is a lack of a massive advantage diversity in the status quo means that all affirmatives are pushed towards things. But why you have to have an increase in immigration in terms of number of persons rather than criticizing particular eligibility restrictions on part of the topic destroys the ability to generate diverse advantage towards the end of the year. At the end of the year, so everyone was already bored with the H1 EB debate. It leads to increasingly manufactured advantages towards the end of the year. New shit at the NET is definitely you have to suck it up, but rather it's better that those things come directly from the literature itself, not responding to our bidirectionality is inherently literaturally based arguments, inherently conservative and liberal arguments on both sides of the immigration debate force people to defend the way in which the increase. You should be able to defend both sides. That's happening in the first place. The fear and the boogeyman of new shit and NDT should not be a consequence of the determination of what your decision is, especially in a world with controlling interpretation for your ballot is what is reasonable. And at this point, in this debate, you can hold that line further later in the year. I'll answer the precision arguments here. Their best piece and their hash evidence that draws a distinction, and their evidence says you have to increase over pre-existing baseline, none of which increase or eliminate our affirmative just says you have to increase that eligibility. Something only piece of evidence was supports our interpretation of the hash evidence, but I've impacted that evidence above to because it would indicate that you would have to have the decent number itself in order to be topical. That would make debates over these questions impossible. Means that eligibility for affirmatives are not good. It is better to encourage teams like us to increase it, to generate more and more things from the literature base. Means we have to expand it, and we investigate more and more parts of what the literature how the literature base acts itself. I've answered their topical version arguments above. However, if they win that any of their our counter-interpretation solves all of the small apps that they say would lead to removing one thing like Kentucky's app. However, only their interpretation justifies those negative action affirmatives, whereas our counter-interpretation provides a positive increase in eligibility. It's the only way to both preserve a diversity of advantage ground as the community goes forward and make sure that you can't just remove a single negative eligibility requirement, increase the number of those theses. Those affirmatives also be awful because you always lose the pick out of the